Man, we missed you all. Despite your hopes, you can stop reading the obituaries. We're not dead. Truth is, we've been adjusting a little too well to the cruising life. So let's get back to work. Here, we're completing projects while waiting for our haul-out date in Fort Lauderdale. This is Palm Harbor Marina. You can see space between just below the bridge tower.
This is 100 meters of 18 mil anchor road made in Germany. It's for our secondary anchor, fortress type. We're taking it to West Marine to get it spliced with a thimble end so I can de-shackle it to 30 feet of anchor road chain and then shackle that to the anchor.
West Palm was so relaxing. Just kidding, we continued more boat work. That Lero's Road for our secondary anchor was free with a 7-figure boat purchase. And pay attention, compadres, there will be a quiz at the end.
We've been driving back and forth down to West Marine and Fort Lauderdale. We're staying in West Palm right now. I found this place on Google. They have way more selection as far as chain and shackles go, and they do the splicing here while you wait. It was awesome. Knowles Distributing, I guess.
So we came to get our secondary anchor road spliced so we can hook it up to chain, and we also are purchasing our chain here.
Yeah, like we got 50 feet of 3/8 stainless for the, the end where the anchor goes.
We still have to learn to splice lines, so we drove around the shady parts of West Palm until we found this gem. You'd think we've died and gone to road and sheet heaven. Sailors call ropes that work sails sheets, just to confuse the landlubbers. These people at Knowles really know their shit. Check out this aisle just for anchors. The place was impressive at a fraction of Woolmarine prices. Here, you can see them splicing our lines as we wait. We had already bought our secondary anchor at Sailorman in Fort Lauderdale because nothing says we care about security like secondhand equipment. Just kidding, there's a ton of good garbage out there, and we highly recommend dumpster diving for as much of your equipment as possible. The second anchor on a boat is important for 2 reasons. First, to use if your first anchor fouled or broke, which actually happens more than you want to know, often for mysterious reasons. A second anchor is also useful to put out in addition to the primary anchor if you get caught in a major storm, because 2 anchors are stronger than 1. You don't want to be that sailor with an anchor dragging across the seafloor, and you don't want to wake up to your boat rubbing up on another sailor's boat while that salt-crusted sailor yells at you from their deck naked. Keep in mind the leathery hide of a seasoned sailor extends to all parts of the body. Let's clear our palate with some cute dogs.
You guys doing alright? Bring the dog to work day. We're getting a new roof put on.
Oh.
So we didn't want them being home freaking out with the roof, all the pounding on the roof.
Yeah.
So they're here freaking out on all the new noises.
In jail.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Jake is the hound, and
Yeah.
Brandy's the boxer mix.
It's pretty quiet for a hound, isn't it?
Yeah.
Usually you hear him going.
Yeah, we rescued him a couple months ago. He was in 9 different homes.
Aww.
In 4 months.
The hound?
Yeah, he's a good boy too. I don't know why anybody gave it to him.
And just like that, you've learned how to confidently splice road. You should sleep well knowing that this tiny rope is holding a 15-ton boat in place. Now that we've got the secondary anchor set up, on to the next project. So our first few nights on the boat, we kept hearing this fan kick on like every minute and only ran like for a few seconds. We couldn't figure out what it was. And John Michael had torn apart like every panel in the area, behind the sink, under the sink, out in the propane tanks. We almost pulled out the ice maker to find out what this was that kept kicking on and off, mostly out of concern for what was drawing energy and why the need for a fan. And we even tried switching on and off all the breakers and narrowed it down. And this morning at 8 a.m., I found John Michael hanging out of our bedroom closet, and he found the problem. So I'm going to see if you guys can hear this. It'll kick on soon. If you can see that, that is an inverter for the oven, which apparently runs on 230 volts, which is European standard. And don't get me started because it's the oven that I don't even want. So we are going to discuss options for removing that fan, switching out the inverter versus completely hauling out the oven and figuring out an alternative. So we've been listening to that for quite a few days. Just imagine lying in a moonlit cabin on the boat of your dreams in a comfy bed with the ocean rocking you gently to sleep. Now that we're well rested, we have some energy for the hot mess we call Dexter. Note how JM takes the same tone with an 8-year-old boy as he does with me.
How do you come up with this stuff, man?
Mama did it.
Oh. Is it recording? Hold on.
Yes.
You see the orange light
Yes.
at the top?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? So
Just like me.
my son's recording, which is why
Stop.
it's a little shaky.
No. Don't be. I'm not shaking it. It's the wind that's shaking it. Fine, you get here. I'm gonna stop. Hold on. I think I should sit down.
Just put like one twist on it. Alright.
What?
Once you back up. My knot was not going through the pulley.
Enough fuckery. Let's get this work done so we can have sundowners. This project is all about tying off the standing and running rigging with seizing wire or locking wire. As you can imagine, a pin falling out would cause a headache at the least, or at the worst, a catastrophic and possibly fatal result. And no one likes the inconvenience of death. It's a bummer for the dead, as well as those left alive who have to do the paperwork.
Go ahead.
So we're systematically addressing every shackle and pin as we move through the boat. This is just a sample of the nonsense as we safety wire the top and bottom hardware of our Genoa sail up on the bow. We'll spare you the ridiculous amount of time it takes to put little twists of wire on all the pins we found on this boat. And no, the factory does not do this.
Yeah, so we just zip tied these for the trip down because we were in a hurry and I didn't have any seizing wire. Trick to the seizing wire is the pliers. They make everyone look like a pro. Those are safety wire pliers. They like regular pliers, but they hold automatically and then they also spin. Pretty cool. Cut off a section. The whole point is you just don't want this pin to back out on when it rattles. So you need to tie it off something so it can't spin. So with the pliers, you just grab the two and you lock them. Little handle, and you just pull this. And they spin, look real pretty. And then you attach them to something else so that it won't back out. This one was loose. We also had a zip tie, but it was just rattling around. Definitely needed.
Welcome to Dusk Till Dawn boat work with John Michael.
This is my favorite time to work because there's no sun. And I hate the sun, so it's perfect.
Great idea to move on to a boat, John Michael. I'm a super good helper.
You are super good helper. You are super good helper. You are super good helper. I can't really help. That's a good idea.
I'm a good helper.
That's what I'm gonna shout when you're making dinner and I'm sitting on the couch. I'm a good helper. So here we are on Space Between in the Palm Harbor Marina. What I want to do today is take a look at, since the boat's new to us, see how long a black tank lasts. We've been off and on the yacht for the last 2 weeks, I guess. Katie and I are using the one head, so I'm going to pull the panel off and see how full it is. Maybe we can get an idea how long it'll last us, because there's no gauge or way to tell when it's full. Black tank is right inside the shower here. It's behind this panel. See, there are these little plastic caps for all the screws. And we're gonna get a ton of these extra caps because once they're open, they don't really stay closed anymore. So we're gonna get some more of those too. Okay, set that down. There's one more of these. Oh, nope. Looks pretty full. Okay, so it looks like it's a good thing I checked. I don't know if you can see, but there's this line right here. That's right about full. It's probably over full because that's the inlet right there. So now's the time to empty this thing. We got a pump out scheduled. I'm in the master shower looking at one of our black tanks here. These are not large. There's 4 of them, but individually each one is pretty small. We found ourselves filling them up quickly and not realizing, and I think we overflowed all of them at different times, one or another. So what we installed were these black tank sensors, level sensors. These are from New Providence Marine. It just includes 2 aluminum strips here and then a little device that measures the voltage potential between the two. And as the water fills up, little electrons can move from one to the other a little easier. You know, everything conducts electricity a little bit. Most stuff does. And then the head unit that I'll show you in a second reads that data and tells you how full your tank is. One of the nice things about the system is it works with any plastic tank. Can't be metal, obviously, because it uses metal for the electricity. But you can also set the shape of your tank, whether it's square or a wedge. So it kind of can calculate how full it is. So here's the New Providence Marine head unit. You can see right here it has our tank numbers 1 through 4. It supports up to 8 tanks, and it kind of shows you a little graph of how full they are. You can look at them specifically by cycling through each one, and it beeps if there's a high warning on any one of your tanks. The cool thing is you can also set a low warning. So if we were to monitor our water tanks, for instance, we could set a high warning on all of the black tanks and a low warning on our freshwater tank.
So there you have it, folks. Now for our oven inverter 3-month update. Okay, still not working. The electrical power goes to the igniter and the clock on it. However, the clock doesn't even keep the right time and loses about 10 minutes an hour. I can't make this shit up. So we are preparing for our first solo sail tomorrow in our Saba space between. We've always sailed with other people or in smaller boats and not our boat. So it's exciting. We are docked real close to Flagler Bridge in West Palm Harbor. So we're gonna get up early, pass under the bridge, get to the ocean, and then we estimate about 5 to 7 hour sail to Fort Lauderdale. We have been at this marina for 5 weeks. We tried to extend it a little bit longer, but there's a boat show going on and we're effectively being kicked out because we don't have a further reservation here. And then we are going to move closer to the work dock that needs to finish our commissioning, pull our boat out. We're having our propellers switched and a couple other things done. So we're just waiting on all that to kind of come together. In the meantime, we're in a holding pattern, but we need to get out. So we're going to Fort Lauderdale and now if you could put your books away, it's time for your quiz.